If everything was to go completely down the drain once I get to Indonesia, coming back to the States would be just emotionally traumatizing. Go home, the only thing I would have is my family, and I'm sure even them not gonna be super supportive. If I have to come back, I would be coming back to nothing.
Yeah.
I must say that when it comes to having brain cells, James over here. So we know as of last week that he was in a relationship prior, and he up and left his family to move to Florida or to a different state to be with that woman, and he did it last minute without even really voicing to anybody, and therefore he put everybody else in a very uncomfortable position work-wise. Fast forward, that relationship didn't work out. He goes back home, and they're taken back with open arms. Fantastic. But then obviously fast forward again, he then meets Natalia all the way from Indonesia. Now, of course, she comes over and lives in the States, but then finds out, hey, the States is not the place for me. The medical side of things isn't something that's working out for me, among other things. So therefore, she's like, listen, we need to move to Indonesia, which is exactly what we are right now. But in that process, we have noticed that James has this issue with transparency. He's unable to really tell the truth when it's needed. He seems to say it last minute. Now, of course, initially upon reaction, we are all under the influence that, or at least some of us were under the influence, that the reason why he does not tell things straight away to Natalia anyway, at least, is because he's too afraid of the fact that she's going to be overreacting with her. That was the initial thing, but then to find out that even when he came to his family, again, this time around again, he left it to last minute to tell his family that he was leaving, like legit, he left it since like the day before to tell his mom, dad, and his siblings that, hey, guess what, I'm off. And his friends, I'm off. So that means clearly there is a deeper thing going on with this man pre-Natalia's existence, okay, where he's unable to tell people that matter to him the truth within the right timeline, because really and truly, he should have given his family more time to process that he's leaving, and he may not be coming back for a very long time. And even if he is coming back, it's more likely to be a vacation rather than it is to be on a permanent basis. So either way, that he's now up and left, and he's literally got nothing to go back home to if things don't work out in Indonesia. Now, I had to give you that whole explanation because it's going to define what's about to happen next with Natalia. Wow.
Tata sama si James mau pindah ke Indonesia.
Sembulan. Sana ya udah sana aja, jangan ke sini. Harus pindah ke sini gitu. Terus sana tinggalin, bukannya James sana pun punya kerjaan itu. Orang luar negeri kan, terus bahasa komunikasinya belum lancar. Terus pendapatan ekonomi sini kan kecil. Beda.
So, her family didn't even know that she was coming back to Indonesia on a permanent basis. They thought she was coming back for around about a month. She's been back for 5 weeks now, and now she's only telling her sister that, hey, guess what? Yeah, James is coming to live with me here. And that's why the sister is talking about, well, that doesn't make any sense, because for him to get work here is going to be harder because he doesn't speak the language. He's an American or foreigner, at least anyway, and the pay's going to be very, very low. And not only has she not told her sister about this, but she hasn't told her parents neither, which therefore defines the next part of this.
Sama di Amerika kan, mau pindah sini ya. Terus jangan tinggal sama papa sama mama, titik kuncinya. Kayak gini.
And then boom, bam, sister's like, you can't even live with mom and dad, or at least I would not advise it. And it's crazy because she was upset with James for not being vocal sooner rather than later, which I still agree with. But meanwhile, she's not even being vocal with her whole freaking family. Communication's a big thing, but hey, some people just let that shit go over their head.
I worry if she have a good point. James don't like being told what to do, and my dad like to tell people what to do, and then he like to do things his way. But we need to stay with my parents because we don't have so much money right now. Hope that they will just get along really well, and then James can stick it up, because I just don't want to go back to the US.
Oh, listen, it's so nice and dandy that you don't want to go back to the US, but you've come back to Indonesia with lack of money, with no job available for yourself, let alone obviously your husband anyway. So, what now? What now? There's literally no plan with these two. They're both literally unplanned people. They're both people that do things off the whim. And they are both things who don't communicate at all with people around them, as well as within their own relationship. That is crazy. How they are expecting to survive this is crazy. The fact that they've even survived with them being in the States is crazy. But at the same time, maybe it was easy to survive because, well, at least he had work to go to, so he could obviously bring money home. Now they're in a different country where money won't be coming in the same way it was coming in the States. Getting a job won't be as easy. This whole thing is literally a freaking calamity. But listen, this is what happens when you meet, when two people who have no brain cells clearly meet together and literally, now what? And it's crazy because remember, she wants to have a child. I don't know what would be worse, these two having a child or Brandon and Mary having a child. Because Brandon and Mary were two people, again, no maturity whatsoever, but had a child anyway. These two, no planning, no communication, literally lack of maturity, lack of responsibility, communication, you name it, they haven't got it. But she wants to have a child. Thankfully, James does not want to have a child. And even if he does change his mind, hopefully he will change his mind at a time when it's going to make sense because they are now on a better path in their relationship. But they are not right now. So therefore, her even thinking about having a child, she can forget about it because affording it is clearly going to be a myth. But nonetheless, though, let's move on to the next one.
Of these hairs are proof of my love to you, you know? You are my, it's the loyalty.
You know the most interesting way of proving your love to me. By the way, did you know I'm a speed waxer?
No.
I used to work across from a Navy base and wax.
Give you context, the reason why they're talking about waxing hairs and his hairs on his back is because he says, listen, this is how loyal I've been to you. Look at my back. My back is hairy. It is hairy because normally I would get other women to come and shave my back. And also, when I have an itch, I itch my back on the wall, and that's why this wall is dirty. Shekinah was like, well, I never really noticed that because this place is dirty in general, but hey, we won't talk about that. Either way, though, his way of showing his love, his loyalty is literally to show that he's got a hairy back. And therefore, now she's got the responsibility. I can't ever say that as if it's a serious thing, to be honest with you. But anyway, we move on.
Navy guys all day, every day.
I have also similar love with you, babe.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I picture imagine you pooping sometimes, you know that? Farting jokes so gross, but when I picture you like that, I never get disgusted. I never get disgusted with you.
I still need him to show me that he's ready to be in an adult relationship. If
What? What? Sorry, I can smell poop now, and there isn't any poop around me, but you know when you just smell it because it's been mentioned. Nothing better than a good old smoothie. Yep, replace the smell. But, first and foremost, we don't need to know about you having this poop fetish or whatever the hell you want to call it. Secondly, for her to come out and say, oh, I'm waiting for him to become mature. Does she not realize that for him to even become mature, if he really does like that much immaturity, well, guess what? She's gonna have to become mature herself. I mean, look at this is the reality of their relationship. We're dealing with two grown-ass people who literally are lacking maturity. It is crazy. 1 minute you feel like there's a balance, 1 minute, maybe that's a bit subjective. 1 minute it can be perceived as if maybe they're gaining a balance, the next minute, I don't know.
I'm gonna marry him and bring him to the States, he needs to grow up.
I don't know, baby, it's a big decision, you know?
I applied for K1 visa. It was, to be honest, her idea. Would be 2 or 3 years to be approved. So I said that I can change her mind, or my mind can be changed in the...
Do you really want to go to the US?
No.
Look at this. Am I even surprised that these two have had hitting another roadblock of communication? Nope, not at all.
No, you don't.
I want to be with you.
Solution.
We can survive here, babe. We can stay here. And
I
then...
have a daughter. I know that you don't know what that's like, but like seriously.
Yes, she does have a daughter, and yes, he does not know what that's like, but at the same time, you have chosen to be with a man from Turkey. And last time I saw these two on this show, didn't she say that she was going to move to Turkey on a permanent basis? So what's changed? See, this is the thing with these two. Everything is up and down. Nothing is ever making any sense. Storylines after storylines, and honestly, the editing is just all over the joint because I'm convinced, please tell me if I'm wrong, last season they said that they were going to move to Turkey and that's where they're going to start their life. And that's when I remember questioning her for abandoning her daughter. But in this season, she's talking about how she wants him to move to the States because she can't keep moving, she can't keep going back to the States every 5 weeks, which I completely understand. And I completely understand her obviously wanting to be around her daughter. And don't get me wrong, technically speaking, it would be better for them to move to the States so she can be around her child 1000%, because he doesn't have that responsibility. But when it comes to having communication with these two, it seems to me even when they have a communication, one person says this, the other person says that, and then in the end, everything just comes to no conclusion.
I am really taken aback because this was our solution. I've committed to living in Turkey with Sarper, but going back and forth every 5 weeks has been difficult.
And I can't imagine how tiring that would be as well, and expensive.
If he's having doubts and hesitations about moving to the US, it makes me wonder if I should be investing all of this time being here.
Shut up. She says that all the time. We all know you're still gonna invest your time with being with him. Like, you two breaking up isn't even an option. Let's just keep it a buck. Don't even try and give us this little false hope that, oh, it may not be an option, because we all know at the end of the day, you're probably gonna move to Turkey if he does want to move to the States. You know what I mean? But to be fair, I definitely see him moving to the States at some point. You know what I mean? Because why not? It just feels like they're inevitable. You know, sometimes things just feel like they're inevitable, and I just feel like it is the inevitable for them too. But nonetheless, though, we have to wait and find out to see, obviously, how that plays out itself in particular. But I will say this, though, by the time that he does make it to the States, whether that be 2-3 years from now, based on whatever timeline he was speaking about, the question is, will they both still be looking the same by then? Anyway, we continue.
I still have to wire the money to purchase the van, but luckily I was able to get an advance from work for the 6,000 pounds that we were short.
She's given up her job, so how is she planning to contribute? Like, is she just gonna be, like, living it up while you're working?
I don't love being the sole breadwinner, no. I do feel a bit jealous, and I'm hoping I don't feel resentful, because while I'm working, Dempsey is going to be free as a bird and able to...
1000% you're going to feel resentful. Why wouldn't you? You made a poor choice. To be honest with you, I wasn't even under the impression that either one of them would still be working. I thought legit they were just going to save up their money, whatever, and then after that, they're just going to go on a road trip, enjoy it for as long as they can, and then go back to home and then both get a job. So that was actually quite new to me, for me to find out. And the fact that I'm finding this out now is quite crazy, because now I sit here and I say that, what the hell are you thinking, Statler? Why in the hell would you go and do this, knowing that you're the only person that's going to be bringing in an income? And to make it worse, not only will you be the only person bringing in income, but Dempsey's the one that's actually going to be enjoying your income. That is nuts. That is crazy. You're going to be working God knows how many hours, whatever, but your friend over there will be enjoying the income. That is wild. Now I will say this though. Is it wise to be on the road and also be working at the same time to make sure income is still flowing? 1000%. That is a brilliant idea. But really and truly, you both should be in the same position. If you got two incomes in, come on now, you can do so much more. You know what I mean? So the fact there's only one income is actually quite crazy. And to be fair, I will say it is quite responsible of Statler to... Actually, you know what? At first I was like, it is quite responsible of Statler to actually still want to be working. But at the same time, though, Statler is somebody that does need a certain level of structure. And Statler is somebody that definitely needs a certain level of reassurance that she's not going to be left with nothing in the end. So it does make sense that she's going to still work, you know what I mean? But at the same time, though, she definitely shouldn't be allowing Dempsey to enjoy the royalties of her work. Just saying. Just think about it. She's working in the caravan whilst Dempsey's over there somewhere. Hey, I mean, the nature. Oh, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, living it loca. That's crazy. Yeah, nah. I would feel resentful, 100%. I'll be looking at you thinking, you bum. I don't like you. You know what? Just get out of my sight. That's why I wouldn't put myself in that position.
Really explore Europe.
You make yourself small in a lot of your relationships, and you accommodate so much for people who give you so little historically.
Rejected from day one when I was given up for adoption.
To jump into situations without really thinking it through. It's just this willingness to put aside common sense.
I mean, listen, her friend said it best. Willingness to put aside common sense. 1000%. But listen, end of the day, sadly, in this world, there's some people who are desperate for love. There's some people that are desperate for attention. And if they don't get it, well, they don't feel whole, I guess. It is quite sad that she has this weight on her shoulders of always feeling like she needs someone to love her. And it's made her so desperate. But away from that, Styler is known for having a very impulsive mind. She doesn't do things. She just does things. She doesn't think. She just does them, and it's a very dangerous life. She needs a partner that's going to come into her life and actually help construct her mind. That's what she needs. Whether she's going to like it or not is what she needs.
You deserve to be taken care of too. You don't have to earn her love by taking care of her financially.
Just hit me that I don't really have a home to go back to now. It's giving me versus what I'm putting in.
Yeah.
You're right. In the sense that I do give up everything to a person to try to make.
But the thing is, though, that this isn't new news. I remember her having this conversation with herself or the producers or something like that in the last season about the fact that she's always putting others first and putting herself last and all that kind of stuff. So I don't even know why they're even talking about it as if it's a new thing. Styler's been aware of this, and if you ask me, she's been aware of this before the show before she was even on the show. So the question is, why do you keep putting yourself in these positions?
Making me worry. Maybe she's only in it because I can offer her van life. I've been thinking nonstop about Natalie's advice because I've been in relationships where I've been taken advantage of financially.
I mean, listen, at the end of the day, as far as I'm concerned, Styler's the kind of person that just refuses to learn from her mistakes, refuses to learn from her own behavior. Because if you ask me personally, I think that Styler is very, very aware of this thing consciously, but she still has this hopeless love thing where she still has to try and see if she can finally get someone to just not take advantage of her. And the saddest thing about it is that she keeps using the same approach with every single person. Well, it's a shame that her friend is maybe not a lesbian and they couldn't get together because her friend clearly understands her quite a lot. But either way, though, do I feel sorry for Statler? Based on the way she behaves on social media, not really. But hey ho, listen, it is what it is. We have to see obviously how their storyline develops. It's only episode 4 so far. But with that being said, let's get into the last couple.
Money she spends for the house. It's exhausting. You know, I don't need to hear it. I just got here. I don't want to be reminded of how much money she spends on me. Letting you decide.
You know what? Listen, let's keep it a buck with these two. No, man, let's just keep it a buck with Josh. Here's the thing. I don't know why Josh is behaving as if when you move to a new country, there's a chance that depending on the country you're moving to, you will not be able to work until further notice. And at the same time, with Lily, I would imagine that she should be aware of this too, but she definitely is aware of it in this situation. So why money keeps becoming a conversation in their relationship blows my mind. Absolutely blows my mind. And the crazy thing about it is she spent all this money on this house, this dream house. Now they're going to spend money on a wedding that they don't need to have because they already had one anyway. And then that's what leads them to have this little conflict about whose idea it was.
Okay. I'm just kind of following you.
We will decide.
Yes.
We will try out.
Okay.
Okay. But we are pay money.
Following you.
We will decide.
我当然希望家是会帮我承担经济压力啊，但是他没有钱呐。
It's crazy though. He's broke. Well, guess what, Derry? You still decided to be with this man. Point blank. Period.
You want to spice wedding 遗产呐？ You tell me.
Because you mentioned it. So I said, okay. I was happy. I like to save money.
So here's a little discussion here where she's trying to say, I didn't really care for this wedding. He's saying, yeah, you did. That's why we're having it. And she's saying, no, we're having it because you wanted this. And he's like, no, because you mentioned it. That's why I suggested it. And then she's like, I don't know when this conversation happened, but either way, this conversation has now led them in this conversation was led them down the path of talking about money again. But this time, though, Josh is saying that he's got savings. So now he wants to, help pay towards some of the wedding, which is absolutely ludicrous. If you know that you've got a small amount of savings, okay, and you can't work, instead of paying it on this wedding and this flipping wedding dress or whatever the hell you're paying it for, how about just use that money to actually help you both survive until you're able to freaking work? And then you can have this little wedding of yours at a later date when you're actually working. But hey, some people just don't know how to prioritize their finances.
Honey, you said.
Okay.
You
say so.
家是说我们这场婚礼是给我家人一个婚礼的。You will pay money?
Yes.
Because I have no money.
Yes, I know. You always say that.
1 minute he's broke. Next minute she has no money.
It hasn't even been 24 hours yet, and Lily is constantly mentioning she has no money.
It's only been 4 episodes and I'm already bored of you too. But hey, who am I to complain like you're complaining about 24 hours?
To say, can't work while I'm here. I don't know if she's just stressed financially, but it's scary because one of my fears coming to China that she's gonna keep throwing it in my face every.
Listen, who knows why she's stressed, but I know I'm stressed watching YouTube. Like, what the hell is going on here? You know what it is though, for me personally, when I see grown-ass people in a relationship and finances is the main topic of their relationship, that's how I know they shouldn't be together. If finance is your main problem in your relationship, that is the main strain in your relationship, you should not be together, because everybody should know this by now. When money becomes an issue in the relationship, that's when the relationship becomes an issue in general. Point blank period. That's why before you get in a relationship, make sure you are both financially stable. And even if you get to a point where money does hit the fan, because maybe you get an unexpected bill or whatever it is, make sure you're ready to support one another emotionally. Not to be there talking about, well, he's broke, I have no money, blah, 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 la, 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 la. Come on. Come on. Miss me with a BS. But nonetheless, though, either way, they've made the choice, and I guess we have to see how this storyline plans out, but I promise it's now. If by the time we get to episode 6, maybe even 7, and these two are still talking about money, I don't know. I feel like I have something good to say, but I really don't, because I'm just drained by these two right now. But nonetheless, though, let me know your thoughts. Let me know your frustrations. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and of course, peace.